Alec Baldwin will face charges for his role in the death of a filmmaker, and he's not the only person prosecutors are charging in the case. The accidental, fatal shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins on the set of the Western movie Rust dominated the news cycle in late 2021. Over a year later, the case is far from over. On the contrary, legal consequences over the tragic turn of events have only just begun. At the heart of the Rust tragedy is actor Alec Baldwin, who is the person alleged to have fired the supposedly harmless prop gun that killed Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza. Despite that, in the months since the shooting occurred, Baldwin has publicly made moves to pin responsibility for the shooting on, essentially, anyone but him.
Someone is responsible for what happened, and I can't say who that is, but I know it's not me.
On January 19th, more than a year after denying responsibility in an interview with George Stephanopoulos, it was announced that Alec Baldwin, as well as set armorer Hannah Gutierrez-Reed, will be charged with involuntary manslaughter over the Rust set shooting. Interestingly, one person that won't be charged is assistant director Dave Halls, who also reportedly handled the loaded weapon on the day of Hutchins' death. Halls has reportedly agreed to a plea deal in his own legal proceedings and received a 6-month sentence of probation. In announcing the charges against Baldwin and Gutierrez-Reed, New Mexico officials also released some important information about the state of the gun that fired the fatal shot. An FBI forensics report has found that the cocked gun couldn't be fired without pulling the trigger until the gun malfunctioned due to an internal breakage. This calls into question Baldwin's earlier claims that he didn't pull the trigger to make the gun go off.
Well, the trigger wasn't pulled. I didn't pull the trigger.
So you never pulled the trigger?
No. I would never point a gun at anyone and pull a trigger at them, never.
Despite the criminal charges, a post-mortem investigation signed by the chief medical investigator of New Mexico concluded that there was no evidence that the gun had been intentionally loaded with live ammunition. It also maintained that there was no evidence that anyone involved with the Rust production had an overt intention to cause bodily harm. The report read in part, "Based on all available information, including the absence of obvious intent to cause harm or death, the manner of death is best classified as accident." The news of charges being filed in the case led to quick responses from representatives of the parties involved. On the victim's side, the Hutchins family attorney Brian J. Panish released a statement that praised the officials' actions in filing charges. According to that statement, it is a comfort to the family that, in New Mexico, no one is above the law. Baldwin's camp has also commented on the recent developments through a statement released by the actor's lawyer Luke Nickus. Responding to the decision to file criminal charges against Baldwin, the statement read, "This decision distorts Halyna Hutchins' tragic death and represents a terrible miscarriage of justice. Mr. Baldwin had no reason to believe there was a live bullet in the gun or anywhere on the movie set. He relied on the professionals with whom he worked, who assured him the gun did not have live rounds. We will fight these charges, and we will win."